Muted. Hi. Hi, everyone. Hopefully this is working okay. I'm trying out a new platform today. So if you can hear and see me, please let me know. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Joan in the chat. I also have a new chat thing happening. So I'm trying to figure out, hi, Wendy, what's going on. So Rachel, hi. So yeah, if someone can just let me know that you can hear and see me okay, that would be delightful. Okay. Oh, good. Thanks, Leslie. And Joan, thank you. So I'm hoping that this will help. There was some stuttering from the last program that I was using, and I'm hoping that Delphine, hi, everything is going to work delightfully. The reason you can see there's a logo, I think, up in the corner. It's a little duck. And so I'm trying this out. Hi, Bianca. And the reason I'm trying this out is that next time I'm doing my YouTube Live, which is August 1st. Hi, Kelly. I will have a guest. So some of you know Cynthia. We had a free class with Cynthia, Art is Medicine. And we are going to try to do a dual YouTube Live in 2 weeks so that we're both on screen. It will be through my channel. She'll be invited into my channel. That's how it works. And we'll both be on, and we'll be both working in our art journals using some prompts so that you can see what two people together doing the same prompts come up with, and chat and have a good time. So this was the program that is easiest for me to bring a friend on, and I'm hoping that in the future I'll be able to do that a few more times, and I hope that is fun and exciting for y'all. So today we're back in my art journals, and I'm hoping that you're in your creative space, creative project, whatever you're doing, even if today is about just hanging and gathering inspiration, maybe, having a cup of tea. Depending on where you are in the world, this could be a glass of wine, if that's where you are time-wise. No judgment from me. So I'm going to pop my hands in the spotlight and let's play, shall we? Let's see. Still learning this whole thing, y'all. Oh, look, the camera is... My hand camera is missing. Give me a minute. See, this is why. Fun times, y'all. Fun times. Hopefully, I will not have to just hold things up in front of me. But just bear with me because this should have been fine. And let's see. Okay. See, this is what happens. Hi, Roxanne. That my overhead camera, once I tried everything before, hi, Tammy, was working fine, and now the overhead camera is not working fine. So let's see what I have to do. Y'all, this is joy. Joy. Okay, so talk among yourselves. Oh, you can't do that. So this is delightful. This is quite delightful that I'm having to do this. This is why I test things. And I did test it a million times. Continue to camera. I tested this a million times, y'all. So let's see. I apologize. I can't even tell you how, if you know me well, you know that I'm completely freaking out right now, that this isn't working. And we'll just go from there. Why don't we just go? Okay. I don't know what else to do other than, it's not finding the camera as it should, and I'm taking a breath. There is no finding the camera. I don't really know what else I would do. I'm trying to go with the edit and see where we're going with all the things, but this is how it happens, y'all. Let's see, where is my camera? Yes, you could, and then you can't really see what I'm doing, but that's okay. Okay, I'm back. I'm editing. Nope, nothing. All right. And I have 2 cameras, y'all, and it's still not going. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I was going to work with Happy Mail. I guess I don't need this in front of me because it's not working. And I got Happy Mail from 2 new people recently. And it was Delphine, who's here, hi, and Kathy. And Kathy sent a bunch of, she has a library, and they have a seed library at her library, which my library has that as well, which is absolutely delightful. And she ended up with all these seed packets that she saved. And so she sent me a bunch. And so, oh, look, there's a little something inside of it. Let's pull that to the side. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them, but I think they would probably make like really fun journal. Yes, Wendy, just reach out to me. Okay, honey. And then like, because they're pockets, so how to decorate them and how to use them as pockets. So something for you to think about. I'll probably do a YouTube video on that if that is of interest to you all. And so there's that. And then Delphine made this absolutely gorgeous envelope. I covered our names because, you know, you don't need to share your information on the interwebs. But it was really fun. Delphine, I had to figure out how to safely open it. It was sealed so well and then stapled, but I didn't want to ruin anything on the inside. So I had to be really careful about how I opened it. Oh, I see. That's true. That's hilarious. You actually can just go to her house and ask her. I forgot about that. Hilarious. So what I was planning to do today, I'm trying to take some of the light off of me if I can. I have to take some light down so that you can see. But I was planning to work in a couple of my small journals. This is one that I use a lot. Well, I don't use a lot. I use this shape a lot. It's a zine. Hang on one second. I do need to fix a setting. Because if I'm going to be here on camera like this the whole time, because it didn't work. So I use zines a lot, as many of you know, and let's do it this way, because then you can see what I'm doing. I use zines a lot in my work, and one of the things that I use a lot and do a lot is collaging in these zines, okay? Y'all, I'm gonna be drinking after this one. And so one of the things that happened with the Happy Mail is that as I'm using it, I'm ending up with all these little bits. And that's what this little zine is meant to hold. It's a little, and if you're unfamiliar with a zine is literally just a single piece of paper folded up. If you've never folded a zine before, if you go onto my channel, onto playlist, you'll find a playlist all about zines. It's delightful. And I've done quite a few. I really do love them. I think they're probably the perfect art and junk journal, honestly. The reason being I think they're so perfect is that they're small. They're small in size this way. They also have very few pages, which means that it's something that you can work on in a short period of time. And you can do so much with it. It's a single piece of paper, simple supplies. There's the other one. And then you can also now, I've discovered, make them have pockets. So yeah, They're so fun. So one of those zines that I love doing are these where it's a lot of lists. You just take all your itty bitty little bits of collage and then you just add a little quote to it. Okay, which is fun. I would just like this not to be so, let's see. There you go. That's better. Sort of. And so the thing with the Happy Mail is that I'm using bits of it, but then I'm coming up with lots of little pieces left over. So I wanted to work in this today and just glue down some of the bits that were left over. And so, you know, you can't see my hands, although you might be able to if I can, I am going to try something absolutely bananas. Okay, welcome to Upside Down. This is my laptop hanging upside down. Y'all, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do, right? This is what we're doing. So it's kind of upside down for y'all, but at least you can kind of see my hands. So hopefully that's helpful. And one of you can tell me if that's at least a little helpful that you can see my hands. So I pulled out a little bit of the bits that were hanging out in the Happy Mail. This is my Happy Mail box that's next to me. Good, Tammy, thank you. And I'm just going to glue some stuff down. Okay, I have a sticker. This is from Clara or Claire. I think it was Clara. Finally told me what this was last time I was here. I was using this stuff and it had this shiny bit on the back and I thought it was a sticker, but it's actually a food packaging. It had these candies in it and that's why the back was plastic. So I was like, well, isn't that amazing? So this was a food wrapper. And so the glue stick doesn't work really wonderfully. So I'm going to use I'm going to save that for the background. Let's glue some stuff down, y'all. So this is how I work with just collage bits. If you watched my latest YouTube video, it was about making a master board. So this is kind of like a miniature master board that you're not necessarily going to rip up because most people take a master board and then rip it up. So this is just collaging for collaging's sake. Okay. And sometimes, you know, I have a plan. I'd say most of the time I have no plan. I just start taking stuff out of the collage box. Mostly I use my box of bits. Many of you are familiar with my collage box of bits. And just start adding tiny pieces to a page. So I start with anything. I don't have a specific theme in mind, but after a while, I will start to look for a color. Like, is there a color that's starting to show up on the background? And do I want to lean into that? Or, you know, so I love this pink color. And then I've added these orange bits. And so can I start to lean into that a little bit? And so that's what I'm going to do. This is an envelope that came to me from Kelly. And so I'm going to just see, you know, is this too busy? Like, can I cut this in half? These are the questions that are probably going through my head. I'm saying probably because I tune into them sort of, but not always. But a little piece like this will cut this piece in half. kind of make sure that there's enough light. Yeah. We'll cut that piece in half. This is very dark, so can I use a little bit of this white that has the color, but it's white? I'm always cutting into the collage, especially if it's got a straight piece in it. Sometimes that just, I'm not a fan of the straight pieces all the time when I'm doing these kinds of collage. I also have these little end pieces that were sent to me off the edge of a notebook. And that's another way of breaking up the collage. And funny enough, I just said I don't like straight pieces, and these are straight as all heck. But they also have holes in them, which then lets you see what's below it. So we're gonna oops. Okay, so then I'm like, it's gotten pink. I've lost the green a little bit. So can I pick up another little piece of green and add it in there? So then as I'm looking around, I'm kind of letting my eye, the way I've talked about this in the past is my eye resting? Or do I keep going? There's a space. I keep coming to this, or I still keep coming up here. So I need something up here. Is the white annoying me? Yes, it is. So how do I break those pieces up? And sometimes you just have to rip it into, you can see how tiny, it's like the size of my thumb. You just start to, break it up into smaller pieces. So for those that are popping in and out, we've had some technical difficulties in that my overhead camera was not showing up in the new program I'm working with, even though it did when I tested everything before we went live. And as soon as we went live, it said, nope. So we're going with it, y'all. And my laptop, if you could see it, you would die, is tilted down. That's what you're seeing, is my laptop tilted down. Tammy said those are out of a multimedia paper pad. Oh, these were from Tammy. Oh, that's good to know. I love to use them for some texture and paint over them. She's talking about these little white sections that have the holes. So, because it would have been like a spiral notebook mixed media pad. So this is really fun. I love the way this looks. Okay. Love the way that looks. And the other thing I do, and you can see it, let me close up my glue here. You can see it on this side, is that, I think that's up the right, I can't actually see, but I add watercolor as well. Okay, so I'm going to grab some watercolor. I do what I call bleeding the collage. That's just, it's not a real term, it's just my term. And what I mean by that is I like to take the color that's on the collage and just bleed it out so it looks like the collage is wet, and then bleeding the paint out onto the page. So I do that a lot to make collage not feel so static and like it's just ended. Like this little orange piece, I'm just adding a little extra orange out there, and I know the color is over here, so I'll just come over. And it's also a way, if you have like these white pieces, they're not really annoying me as much anymore, but if they were to annoy you, that would be one way to take them down, like take them down, to tone them down. I think that's a better way than take them down. So there's like some blue paint behind this one. So I can always just go in and that'll tone that blue, the white down. So just kind of bop around and see what I can add. You know, I can even extend. This one's extended into this page. This one is extended into this page. And I want to come back to this orange because I think I'm going to come over here. And I just find it a great way to make the collage feel more painterly and not so collagey. Okay. So it can get, you know, it can get a little bit messy and a little overdone, but I like it. And it's something I do a lot. There are many times when I glue down a lot of collage and then something is wrong. I'm putting that in quotes. Something is wrong. And it's mostly because I'm not liking the hard edges of the collage. So that's where I will come in with my watercolor and do that. So now I just need a quote of some description, which I will find. Let me go grab my quotes and let's see what I can find. I usually have, if you're in my membership, there's a whole club. There's pages and pages of quotes in there. And so this is my book of, okay, listen. So we can go with two of these. Hello, Caroline. Hello, that's my mother. Mother, if you could see the way my camera is right now, you'd be dying. But I'm sure you're realizing I'm a little, this is my laptop is upside down. So I have two quotes here. Be present in the moment, and I'm proud of myself. One, be present in the moment that the camera didn't work and then just adjust. And two, I'm proud of myself for not having a complete meltdown here live on camera. It was close. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm proud of myself for dealing with the situation. And just going with it and having y'all just go with it. Thank you all. I do want to say thank you for those that said it's all good, because it's nice to have you go, you know, life and technology. It's just joyous. All right, so we're going to glue this in. And this, when you're doing the quote, you can either, I mean, obviously just stick it right in the middle if that's where you want, or kind of look, is there a section that maybe you don't like that happened? And honestly, there's nothing I don't like about it. So I'm going to stick it right in the middle. Okay. And that works out really good. And then if it still feels like, depending on what your collage looks like, if it feels that the white of the quote is standing out, this is another time to come back in with that watercolor. For me, it doesn't. It's pulling the white of the background paper up and forward. So I feel like it's lightening the collage, but you're going to have to judge it for yourself, whether it's something that's, you put it down and it feels like just too heavy, then pull in some of the colors from the collage around it with watercolor, and that will soften it as well. Okay. So that's just a little demo of what to do with a little zine when you have all these itty bitty bits of collage hanging around. You can just, you know, make yourself one of these. This is also something fun to work on. And then if you tailor, look, something's unglued. If you tailor the quotes for a friend, then this is also a great little card. Like it would be a greeting card to, you know, wish someone well, or give someone encouragement, even happy birthday, graduation, all those things. And then I just have a paper clip that has some muslin ribbon that it's not ribbon, it was muslin fabric that I watercolored a big chunk and stamped all over it, and then ripped it into shreds, into strips, not shreds, strips. And then, you know, looped it through a paper clip, and then it just gives it something fun to look for, you know, to look at, to look. It looks like fun. Gonna get my words. I'm gonna get my words eventually. So the other two journals that I brought for today is this accordion journal, which many of you have seen a few times. It was one I used during a junk journal time. And I think I worked in this here live with y'all. And so I just thought I would find a page and I will play with this. Just trying to get this in the middle. Play with this with some of the fun things that I was sent. I also got a new deck recently. I know that is shocking to some of you, but it was by Catherine Rawls. This is her name. And I kept, of course, I'll put up the website just in case you're interested. And Cat Rawls is her name. And so I threw that in because, you know, she mailed me something, so I considered it happy mail. You know. Ooh, what's this? Okay. This is gorgeous tissue paper. Let's rip off a sheet. So I'm looking at this page. One has a dragonfly because this was a journal that I pre-prepped with watercolor and stamping. This was the prompts from Junk Journal July or Junk Journal January or July. I don't remember which one it was. It was a while ago. And so this has some stenciling on it. This has some stamping on it. And so do I want to do a collage together? The color of blue and pink are both in this. So, but I also love that. By that, I mean the washi tape that's holding it together. Let's see. You just have to start, right? So what I tell you, just begin. Put something down. For me, I'm reacting to the pink and the blue of what's on the page already. I really did want something here, but I didn't want to cover my dragonfly. So I just didn't. But if I like this idea of this pink, I'm just going to keep ripping pieces of it and see how I can maybe even go this way. Because it's tissue paper, it's really easy to glue down across folds. All right, so I've got 1, 2, and then of course I'll need a third. I'm going to save the butterfly because I might want that as an extra piece. Okay, and I'm using, there is a hard edge, a straight edge on the edge of the tissue paper. So I'm just using that as an edge along the page. What is that? There is something. Oh, it's a piece of thread. Okay. There's a piece of thread on a page. I'm using that as inspiration about where I would place it. So I'm using that as the hard edge here, the straight edge here, and the straight edge here. I'm doing that. Okay. So I ask this every time I do my YouTube lives, but is anyone playing along with me? I mean, I know this is an interesting YouTube today. Or are you just, I know that Rachel is just hanging. I'm excited that you're out of your bed, Rachel. Yeah, you. Delphine, you sent me some stamps. Oh, there they are. Okay. I also want to use these. Delphine sent me some gorgeous stamps. I just need a, oh, good. I'm glad you're playing along. Awesome. All right. These stamps are absolutely just gorgeous. All right. So then I have, I don't know if these colors go, probably a little too bright. This is where you just kind of go through your stuff and see, does something something strike you in the colors. Like, so these are all the seed packets. And as much as there's not purple, there is a purple version here. I love the way this looks. So I'm going to just want to get to it so I can cut it. All right, I'm just popping in to see what everyone is saying, because I have to look upward. Yes, Kelly, I'm playing with the prompt deck and using some of the Happy Mail from you. Yay! I'm playing at my desk, markers and some embossed foil. Awesome. Bianca is playing as well. Roxanne's working on a different project. Go you. Leslie's working in a journal. Bianca is working with her watercolors. Delphine, I'm glad you like that. Of course, I like the Happy Mail, my friend. After demonstrating yesterday, today I feel compelled to do some politically motivated art and blackout poetry. Go you, Deborah. Do it. Hi, Zoe. You're almost done, but at least I'm here. Well, no, I have a half an hour, and as you can see, things went awry. Rachel took me to her sink on her tablet so she could wash her hands and not miss anything. It's okay. However it works for y'all. All right, so I'm feeling the need to use these pansies. I keep checking to make sure to see if my camera maybe came back, but so far it looks like we're going to be doing the tilted laptop. Sometimes, do you ever wonder why you bought something? Like I have this little holder. It's what's balancing my laptop right now. It was meant to kind of put like a tablet in your kitchen so that, you could follow a recipe. And I never used it exactly how I thought I would use it, but it's been in my studio just kind of hanging out there. And now I know why the universe all those months ago had me buy that silly thing. Because one day technology would fail me and I would need to balance my laptop above my head. So there you have it, y'all. Sometimes listen to those instincts about why you buy something. All right, so I have this gorgeous pansy here. And I still have one pansy, which is fabulous. Here it is. And when I'm looking at this, because I'm trying to make this page cohesive, and I'm going to go with cohesive-ish, as you all know, it doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. But if I'm trying to tie two pages together, how do you do that? And just by adding this little pansy, which I'm just fussy cutting real quick, a quick fussy. If I'm adding this somewhere over here, then it will add the balance that I need visually. The other option, of course, would have been another option, not the other option, another option would have been to take some of this purple color and maybe, splatter it or add some mark making with that color on the other page, which I still might. Let's see what I have. I think I need some black. And I want to see how this stamp is. I won't use the whole thing, but we're going to see what happens. I don't know if this is upside down or if I have it right, but think I'm using an old stamp pad. I keep all my stamp pads, whether they're dried out or not. The reason being is that sometimes you don't need a strong color. You're just looking for, you know, like a kind of like a ghost print. And those old stamp pads will do that for you. Okay, there we go. Added some ink just as background. Now, the other thing, when I said, as soon as, of course, I said, I would splatter that with purple. Now I'm like, now I have to splatter it with purple. Because now it's in my head. And I try not to argue with my head. All right, so I also can look, I know this purple is, I have this purple here. So let's add some splatters. So what it will do is extend the gorgeous pansy visually out into the page. Just so that I'm not getting it everywhere. This is another way of what I would say is like kind of like bleeding the collage, getting really close to the pansy. Oops. And letting the paint come right off of it. Fabulous. All right, I will have to dry that in a hot minute. So while that's drying, and honestly, the couple things that I would want to do is there is a dragonfly here. I obviously know where my dragonfly stamp is, so I could grab the dragonfly stamp and put it here. And then there's pink marks on this side. Can I add some of that here? So let me grab the dragonfly. And see if I can find the blue or a blue ink close enough. Okay, so obviously I'm lucky in that I'm not using a page that someone else made for me. So I have access to the dragonfly, but you know, if you had a dragonfly, or could you just doodle a dragonfly? But now it ties all of that together. And I think that is the same color, so that's good. All right, so then this is beige and pink. So let's pick up some, let's see. And you know, this is helpful to go back to your, I don't really know what color that is that I stenciled with. It could have been watercolor, it could have been acrylics. It's been a while, but I want to get close. Can even emphasize some of the ones that are there already if you want, because I'm not sure if the color is exactly the same, so why not emphasize it? I'm also going to take advantage of this color and do what I was saying before, was the bleeding the collage, my tissue paper. Going to add some. Okay, and I've got the purple picked up. So I'm going to pick up purple and add it to some of my pinks. Another way to start tying things together. blending the colors out. And then weirdly enough, I'm going to look and see if I have something that looks like this beige in my watercolor. These are all metallic, so it's a little not exactly the same. But if I can tone down the white ever so slightly, that might be helpful. I can also try picking up some of my white watercolor. Nope, that's not going to work. I was going to say I could pick up white and see if I can put white on this side, but it's not really that important. This is more just me playing to see how I can get the two to blend, but I think they're doing pretty darn good all by themselves. I like it. It's very gardeny. Pull it up to the camera. Okay. It's a little bit, I mean, it could be busy, but it's got lots to look at, and it has a very gardeny feel to it, especially with the pansies and the tissue paper. And then I've got a dragonfly in the background. So I've started to bring that theme together without necessarily doing it on purpose. Okay. But I love the way that came out. All right, so I'm going to have to let this dry. I don't want to hit it with the heat gun while we're live. And then I do have to pay attention. So this is for you if you're gluing stuff down. This pansy paper from the seed packet is a little bit on the thick side. It's also shiny. Okay, so, oh, look, there's the word pansy. Will I be able to use that? Maybe. And so I used a glue stick, and where it sat in the crease where it bends is possible. I can tell already it's not glued really well. So check that out for yourself when you're gluing things across pages. It might take a few times or a thicker glue to keep it down, okay? I have found that a few times in my journals that I've come back and I have to re-glue down where it's crossing the bend in a page. So I'm ripping the word pansy off of this just to see if I like it. I do. And remember, if you are like, I wouldn't have done that. Good information for you to always pay attention to what would you do versus what the artist you're watching is doing. That is how you find you, by checking in on what you would and what you like, what you don't like. What someone does is never right or wrong. It's just their way. And you have to find what works for you. Thanks, Leslie. Thank you. All right. So let's see. I was planning on an hour. So let's move on to another journal, shall we? Y'all, this table is going to explode on me. So we're going to move this to the side and let it dry. And then we'll go to another journal because, you know, that was the whole point of these YouTube lives, to work in the journals. To work in the journals so that I can finish them instead of just making them. So this is where we did this on a YouTube live, which was fun. We were working in pockets that day. And I think I did this on a live or something at some point. But this yellow page popped up and instantly this connected. Okay. So the yellows and the colors in here and this connected. Celia, I'm painting some papers to use in my latest junk journal, loving the pink flowered paper. And purple is my favorite. Cool. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. So this is working with the butterfly. I love that. As much as I'm, I love Kat's name on here, I probably will cut this so that it just becomes the design. And then I'm going to see, look, there's a daffodil. So I'm kind of pulling from, not kinda, I absolutely am pulling from the colors that, I'm gonna try and actually, this card is very thick. We're gonna attempt to peel this off. Will this work? Probably not. Sometimes you can peel cardboards apart. You don't want to ruin the design. So I'm attempting to destroy this business card because the business card is really too thick to go, or in my, for me, it's too thick. I could have used it as a pocket, as it was, but I wanted to use it more as just a collage piece. So I'm trying to tear it. Yes, y'all are watching me destroy someone's business card live on camera. Because that's what we do, right? We take people's stuff and then we make it our own. I'm trying to not lose the sun. I'm going to have to give that up. So now that that's happened, now I can layer. Ooh, 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 that looks delightful. So I kind of want that, not kind of, I do absolutely want that there. And instead of trying to memorize where it's going, I'm just going to mark on my page. Probably Delphine. Delphine asked if I could have used clear tape and peeled it off like I've done with, like you've done washi tape. I probably could have. That just did not occur to me before I destroyed it. Good idea, though, for future. I probably could have. But, in the moment, you're just trying to peel. My hands are very gluey. I also do not like this white edge here. So I'm going to rip that off. And by white edge, I still have a white edge. I mean, straight edge. All right, let's see. Let's glue this part down and see what we want to add to this. So starting with the butterfly as my inspiration, adding this gorgeous business card as the next inspiration because the colors on it just worked. Okay. I still have this little butterfly from the tissue paper from the other piece. So let's fussy rip it. Just gonna fussy rip it. I don't want to fussy cut it. But they've got some pink in here. So, and then there's the butterfly here. So that, oh, there, that works nice. Sometimes you just don't know what's going to work until you glue it down. So yellow butterfly, gold butterfly, pink, pink, yellow, yellow, yellow. There's some gold metallics down in here, which are reflecting in that, which of course is like me going, well, where are my gold metallics? So these are metallic watercolors. And it will take the white down, or beige or whatever. This is some kind of mixed media paper. And all of these look the same until you get them on the page. It's kind of crazy, but just play until you like what happens. Okay, what else do I want? I think I like the idea of some green. So as much as this is not bleeding, you know, there's not green here, there's green in here that I was enjoying and like the color of, so I'm going to add some green. And then maybe a hint of some pink. So just to tie, excuse me, tie the colors together. Just like an abstract background. That's what it's looking like so far. And then I'm thinking, y'all, I'm thinking. I have a lot of dark here. And I have a butterfly shape kind of in this direction. Can I pull that up? So this is not exactly black. So I'm looking for a colored pencil maybe. So stuff like this pops in my head, like, why don't you try outlining it? And as much as I can see it in my mind's eye, it doesn't mean it's going to work. But one way to test it is to do it and just see what will happen. Okay, so it pulls this color in here. Okay, so, and then now that I've done that, the next thing that's popped into my head is bright blue. I'm looking for my Inktense pencil that's indigo. If you've ever used these, you'll know that they all look exactly the same on the tips. It's kind of annoying. So now I have this, and I have this line and this, and I want to add some indigo to tie it all together. So I'm going to use, whoops, everything is so wet. Oh. All right, I'm pulling up paper because everything is wet. Be careful, y'all. I can also make the body of the butterfly. I think you can see that. I added the body of the butterfly there. And just add some indigo around in places. This is so wet. I'm ripping paper. Gonna let that dry. just so that this piece feels a little more tied in. All right. I love it. So there you have it. Started with a butterfly that was stenciled on a page, found someone's business card that I could move on with. The butterfly was still sitting on the page, on my table from a previous project, the previous project being the one I just did. So, and then just started adding background watercolor smears here and there to tie it all together. So I hope you like it. I love it personally. I'm glad that you popped in, Rachel. I know, I mean, I know where you are struggling with, so just remember that a live just can be sitting, but me buzzing in your ears. So, so yeah, so this is the first project for those that are watching and just popping in and out. This was our third project, actually, third project. Then we did our pansy, okay, which is delightful. Still drying, so I'm just leaving it as it is. And then the final project, which I seem to have lost somewhere on my table, was the little zine. I don't know where it is, y'all. It is somewhere on this table. I don't know. But I'm going to put my face back in the spotlight. Hi. So, I hope that you took something from today. Even if what you just took from today was, when all else fails, tip your laptop up and keep gluing, because that's what we have to do sometimes, is just, do what we got to do. So I really enjoyed what I did today. I love the difference in these two pages between the doodling of, by the way, this was done with a ballpoint pen, because when in doubt, just use a ballpoint pen. And then, like the little more abstract that you have to even like dive into what is this and get close to it and see what the design is, which is fun because it makes you stop as you're going through your art journal and see what's coming up. Okay. So if you have no questions, always remember that I'm here every 2 weeks usually. If you would like to know, if you're new here or watching this on the replay, the links will be below for you to join my newsletter, because that's where you find out where I'm doing, what I'm doing all the time. And also, thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Roxanne. Also, if you're not subscribed, if you just happen to stumble across this, I don't know if that's possible with a live, but just in case you stumbled across me, please subscribe. And that way you will know when my light is flashing. When I am, excuse me, I must have kicked the plug, when I'm going live. And I think that's everything today. I hope you had a good time. I know I did, despite our technical difficulties. Just remember that we'll be back here on August 1st with our guests. Cynthia and I will be art journaling together. Hopefully our technologies will work at that time, because we're going to just hope for the best, right? And we'll have a backup plan if we need to. So everyone, go out. I want to encourage you, have a good rest of your Friday, but encourage you to spend at least 5 minutes doing something creative this weekend. All right, 5 minutes. That's all you have to do. Even if it is going and, picking weeds, making a meal for yourself, going out to dinner and photographing it beautifully, set up the place in photographing. It doesn't have to be art related. Just something that brings you joy and delight, and just go for it. All right. Thanks so much, Joan and Deborah. Thank you all for being here, and we will see you all soon. Thank you.